Hi, it's the Rawsome vegan gal here, and today the video is entitled, Do You Know Your Roots? Now, this is not about your genealogy or your descendants or your family tree, although it sounds like it could be. It's actually, I'm going to be talking about the root vegetable. So I have over here, and I'm going to try to attempt to show you in the camera, the platter I have here, if you could see that, the platter of roots, all different types of root vegetables. So I want to talk to you about each one of them and the benefits, and I have some really good information. First from the book by Brigitte called Rawsome, and I'll have a link below to her book. And in here what she has that I really like and refer to in a lot of videos is what she calls her raw food encyclopedia. And it goes through different food products and explains the benefits of them. And also I have an article here from the Supermarket Guru that talks about different roots. So I want to start first of all with this article. So she says here, or I don't know if she, whoever says it, that winter is a time for abundance of root vegetables, and we are getting into that time of year. But you know your taproots, so she calls them taproots. So root vegetables are considered taproots, which are loosely defined as roots that grow downward into the ground. Taproots can be subdivided into tuberous roots like sweet potatoes, yams, and fleshy roots like carrots and beets. And I don't have any sweet potatoes to show you today, but those are also considered part of that. It's important to also make the distinction that root vegetables are different from tubers, such as potatoes and cassava. So you should know that there's a difference between potatoes and sweet potatoes. And then rhizomes, which is things like ginger, and bulbs, which are things like shallots and garlic. So the taproot is considered the main root of the primary root system. It grows vertically downward, and from the main root arise smaller lateral roots, which are called secondary roots. I didn't know all this information, so this is news to me too. Which in turn produce even smaller lateral roots, which are called tertiary roots. So carrots and beets are tuberous roots modified from taproots. Plants with taproots tend to be very drought tolerant and unbelievably can send roots down 20 to 30 feet or more. Isn't that amazing? Allowing them to find water even in dry climates or conditions. That's why these hold up. You know, years ago they didn't have refrigeration. They kept them in like cold storage or something, or in a cellar, and they would hold up. So they mentioned some of the roots here I'm going to discuss, and I've actually also added a few that aren't here. So first of all, let's talk about beets. So right here I have this beautiful red beet with the greens. So now, so you know, a lot of roots do come with greens and they are edible. So beet greens, turnip greens, daikon radish greens, carrot tops, those are all things you can actually use, and they have a lot of nutritional value. If you don't know how to make them, you could just throw them in your soup at the end of cooking. That would be a way to do it. Throw it in the blender if you're going to make a smoothie. Some may be a little stronger, like daikon greens, which I don't have. I have the daikon radish, I just don't have the greens. Those are a bit stronger. Carrot tops too. So, you have to play with them, and turnips. So you may want to just, you could always just massage them with some lemon juice and soften them up, chop them up really fine and put them in a salad. So beets. Beets are, says here, a rich source of polyphenols and betalains, which are both potent antioxidants. They're known to support liver function, and moreover have been shown to lessen tumor cell growth in lab studies. So that's very interesting. And then let's see what the book says about beets as well. So beets are sweet. They abound with nutrients including beta-carotene, B-complex, vitamin C, iron, calcium, phosphorus, sodium, and manganese. And then betaine, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, B-E-T-A-I-N-E, is the red pigment that gives beets their color. It helps increase oxygen intake. Being round roots, beets are considered to have a downward energy, affecting the lower organs and especially benefiting the colon, kidney, bladder, spleen, and liver. It's both blood cleansing and blood building. Beets help build red corpuscles and have long been used therapeutically to treat anemia, so that's good to know. They have also been used to treat constipation, infectious hepatitis, irregular menses, acne, lumbago, and low blood sugar. And she just mentions about how you'd eat them. She says you can eat them raw in a salad, seasoned with different herbs, and also people do a carrot beet juice, which is an energizing elixir. The root is not the only edible part. The beet greens are delicious, like I said. You could do that. Just so you know, beet greens are richer in iron than spinach, but they do contain high levels of oxalic acid, so use them only occasionally. Also be aware that when you use a lot of beets, the red color, you may get a red color in your elimination or your urine, and just don't worry about that. You're very okay, you're fine. So that's about beets. Next is burdock root. Now you may never have had burdock root or seen what it looks like, so I'm going to show you. This is burdock root. It looks kind of brown, and the inside, when you cut it, it has like a beige color. It has to me like a potatoey type flavor, I would say. I've actually grated it raw in a salad even. You could cook with it. It's actually really, really good for you. It's a very tenacious root, meaning it's very hard to pull out of the ground, so it is more an expensive product, but it's very, has a lot of nutritional value and very medicinal. So burdock root, it says here, is rich in potassium inulin, which is a prebiotic that feeds the probiotics in your gut, so that's good, as well as vitamin C, E, iron, and magnesium. Traditionally, burdock is thought to aid in detoxification and to purify the blood. It is a blood purifier. So let's see what else it says in the book here about burdock. So burdock is bittersweet and cooling. It contains vitamin C, calcium, magnesium, and iron. It was used during the Industrial Revolution to help people cope with the health detriments of pollution. I never knew that. Unfortunately, the pollution hasn't gone away, but the good news is burdock is still growing. Burdock roots assist many of the body's organs of elimination, including the colon, liver, kidney, lymph, nodes, and skin. It can be grated or sliced and added to salads. And if you do cooking, you know, I'm vegan and I do cook stuff, nice to make all these roots into a nice stew with beans or grains or something like that. It's really nice too. So next is carrots, and most people know carrots or have seen carrots. Most people have grown up with carrots. So here's a carrot. I do not have the tops for it, but the tops are very good as well. So carrots are rich in beta-carotene, biotin, vitamin K, potassium, vitamin C, and a variety of phytonutrient antioxidants. Now, in case you didn't know, I did study years ago macrobiotics, and what we used to do traditionally as a Japanese thing to make is called kimpira. It's Kinpira. You can look it up online. So what it is you'd make matchsticks of carrot and burdock. You'd saute them in oil and then add a little bit of salt, and you press it down into the pan and use very little water. It released a lot of water just from the salt and oil, from the salt I should say, and it was just amazing. The flavor's so good, and it's very concentrated nutrition putting these together. So let's see what else the book says on carrots. So let's see here. Carrots are sweet, alkaline, and warming. They contain beta-carotene, vitamin B6, and C, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, pectin, and fiber, and their leaves are rich in flavonoids and potassium. They have antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and astringent, diuretic, laxative, and liver tonic properties. They strengthen the stomach, spleen, liver, and lungs. If we all ate 1 carrot a day, lung cancer rates in our population would be cut in half. I never knew that. It's been used as a urinary antiseptic to treat cystitis as well as bladder and kidney stones. Used for many other things. I'm not going to go into everything. It's kind of long. And let's see what else it says. Carrots are delicious in salads, soups, cakes, pies. And the young tops can be used in salads too, like I said. Carrot juice is also an excellent remedy to cleanse the liver, but should be diluted with water as it is very sweet. So carrot does have a lot of nutritional properties, and like I said, it's good for so many things. It also said here for coughing, high cholesterol, sore throat, things I never even knew. Night blindness, we know that vision for vision. So that's about the carrot. Next is parsnip. Now, a lot of you may not have had a parsnip either or seen one. So this is what the parsnip looked like. It's almost like a carrot, except it has a little fatter top here. And the greens I've never eaten, so I don't know if they're actually edible. But it is kind of have a sweet kind of a flavor. And I like it. You can also grate it in a salad if you want to eat it raw. So parsnips are sweet when cooked and high in soluble fiber, as well as rich in potassium, vitamin C, folate, B5, copper, and manganese. Okay, let's see if we have some information on parsnip in here as well. Yes, parsnip is, says it's a pale version of its relative, the carrot. They're both in the same family. Parsnips contain beta-carotene, folic acid, vitamin C, calcium, potassium, silicon, pectin, and fiber, also rich in carbohydrates, making parsnip a good substitute when you're craving processed sugar and starches. It has an analgesic, diaphoretic, diuretic, and laxative properties. It's considered therapeutic for the liver, spleen, pancreas, and stomach. It's been used to rid the body of kidney, bladder, and gallstones. So that's good to know if you have those issues. Eat some more parsnips. It's also been used in treatments for colds, colitis, cough, shortness of breath, etc. Because parsnips build strength in correct states of deficiency, it's considered strengthening for people with hypoglycemia or tuberculosis.
and people recovering from serious illness or surgery. Let's see. So it says that parsnips are their sweetest once they have been exposed to cold temperatures for a couple of weeks. She says you could mash them as an alternative to mashed potatoes. You can do that. And if you want to steam them or cook them, she's just going on the raw notion of how you use them. You can grate them into salads, put them in juices. And she said avoid consuming the leaves. They are toxic. So now we know you do not eat parsnip leaves. And I've never seen parsnip leaves, in the store. So you wouldn't probably have that issue. Okay, the next one here is turnip. Now, I don't have a whole turnip. The turnips were so big at the store. So this is turnip, in case you've never seen it. This is a white turnip, or I guess it's got, what do they call it? Purple and white. Some you can get white, so that's the inside. So that's the turnip. And turnips are a cruciferous vegetable rich in vitamin C, fiber, B6, and can be eaten or cooked with a variety of cancer protective benefits. So that's interesting to note as well. So let's see here, turnip. So turnips are a white version of rutabagas, and I'm going to show you rutabaga too. Can grow in poor soil and was thus historically associated with poverty, so potatoes quickly became more popular than the turnip. Turnips, however, yield both roots and greens that are edible, whereas potato greens are toxic, so you don't eat potato greens. Also, turnips have 1/3 the calorie content of potatoes. They're sweet, bitter, and pungent, and considered warming and alkalinizing. They're believed to reduce the risk of cancer due to their indole content and because they speed the metabolism of estrogen. Turnips are high in vitamin C, calcium, potassium, sulfur, and carbohydrates. The greens are even more nutritious than the root, being rich in beta-carotene, vitamin B2, vitamin B12, and folic acid. And she makes a note about B12 is only when the soil is well composted. So yeah, I've eaten turnip. You can sometimes buy a bunch of turnip with the greens, and they're actually really nice. Turnips are a digestive aid, a lung tonic, and an energizer for the stomach and intestines. They help dry excessive dampness in the body, clear out phlegm, neutralize toxins, remove stagnation, and build the blood. Also been used for many different ways. The turnip greens are, again, I'm not going to go through all the things it's used for. There's many things still here. Turnip greens are considered excellent for anemia, asthma, bladder disorders, bronchitis, coughs, high blood pressure, liver ailments, etc. In folk medicine, the leaves are applied to the back of the neck to stop a nosebleed. That's interesting. Even turnip flowers and seeds are edible. I've never seen the turnip. Actually, if you watch the turnip go to seed, you probably would see the flowers. In Oriental medicine, the flowers are considered a liver tonic and an aid to visual acuity. The seeds are diuretic. So the best fruits are the small to medium-sized ones. Let's see what else it says here. You should store turnips in a paper bag in the refrigerator where they'll keep for several weeks. I never knew that. The roots can be grated into salads or creating soups. Let's see, and raw turnip greens are considered bitter, but if you marinate them, they're not, like with lemon juice, and they say olive oil and salt. I don't use salt, so I would use kelp. And then it says here, a note to people with low thyroid function should be sure they are getting enough iodine, as eating turnips on a regular basis can inhibit thyroid activity. So people who often experience constipation may find the turnips induce flatulence, especially when first going raw, if you are doing it raw, because they help detoxify the bowel. So that's very interesting as well. And then let's see, rutabaga. I have a rutabaga here. They don't have it on the list, but I have a half a rutabaga. I have from that. So rutabaga is probably in the same family as the turnip. So that's what a rutabaga looks like if you've never seen it. And I'm not sure if I have any information here on the rutabaga. Let me see if I do or not. Let's see, turnip. Doesn't look like I have rutabaga. I guess it's not in, let's see, radish. Let's see, rutabaga. I do not think the book has rutabaga. That's one thing I guess it's missing. It has radish, raspberry, rhubarb. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. My goof. It does have rutabaga. So rutabagas are sweet and warming. They're a good source of beta-carotene, vitamin C, B-complex vitamins, calcium, potassium, fiber, and carbohydrates. Like other members of the mustard family, which also includes, I think, the turnip as well. Rutabagas are rich in antioxidant dithiones, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, sulfur and indoles, which have an anti-cancer activity. They stimulate the liver, recommended in treatment for constipation, digestive disorders, and intestinal worms. Look for the firm vegetable. They grow well in cold climates and less long to the winter. They can be pureed to make soup, mashed as a substitute for potatoes, grated into salads. I have grated, it's actually delicious too. But again, you can cook with it too if you're a person who cooks. There's so many varieties, so it's nice to have that information and know. So, and oh yeah, the radish. I don't think I did the radish, so let me talk about the daikon radish. I forgot about that one. I do have that here. I have information about radish, but it doesn't specifically mention daikon radish. But I'll just tell you from my knowledge in macrobiotics that, so this is a daikon radish. This is a really big one. Sometimes you get them thinner, and they do come with greens, and the greens are edible. So the daikon is a very medicinal food. It's known what we call to cut the fat. Like if you eat fatty foods or oily foods, what you do is you would grate some of this and maybe grate it with the carrot because it is kind of strong. And then you eat that while you're eating oily or fatty foods. Also the greens can be dried. People use them for medicinal purposes, for what we call a daikon hip bath if you have any female issues. They also dry the daikon itself. It's sun-dried daikon, and it's actually very sweet, really delicious. And it comes dry, and you could just rehydrate it and eat it kind of like noodles, or as a snack, just like that. I've eaten it just as a snack without even soaking it. It's actually really delicious. So daikon, again, you can cook with it, you can eat it raw. If you can handle raw, it is a little strong. You might want to grate it, that might help. But what they do say about radishes here, just in general, they're pungent and sweet, high in vitamin B1, C, E, potassium, iron, and silicon. Their high sulfur content makes them a useful part of a cancer prevention program. They also contain what's called rafinin, which helps balance the thyroid gland, and the enzyme diastase, which aids in the digestion of starches. And radishes are considered diuretic, expectorant, and stimulant. Thought to be a beautifying food, especially for the hair, nails, skin, teeth, and gums. They cleanse the liver, prevent constipation, dispel phlegm, congested sinuses, clear congested sinuses, remedy laryngitis, sore throat, and prevent viral infections such as flu. They're also used against gall and kidney stones. And they're saying in Japanese folk medicine, they make a drink of carrots and the daikon radish to eliminate deposits of hardened fats in the body. Like I said, you can make a drink out of it, you can grate it and eat it just like that as a condiment. Here they said something interesting. Radish juice can be applied topically as an underarm deodorant. I guess it gets rid of the odor. Or to heal bruises, insect bites, frostbites, and minor burns. So yeah, that's about it on that. So that's all the roots today. So now, do you know your roots? I think now you have a lot of knowledge and nutritional information about them. So here again, I'll just show you them. So we've got our beets with our greens, or our beets, I should say. We have our rutabaga, and here we have the turnip, and here we have the parsnip, and then here we have the burdock root, and here we have the carrot, and here we have the daikon radish. So now you have some really good information and stuff you can add to your meals when you make them, and you know that they have different kinds of nutritional benefits, and values, and even medicinal properties that you might not have known about. So I hope you'll definitely try out some of these things. I think, experiment, try them in different ways and see what works for you. And I thank you for watching. It's the Rawsome Vegan Gal.